Alrighty, y'all, how's it going? So we just got the full 80 card list that is coming to Inferno X, which is the Japanese version of Phantasmal Flames, which we will get in English in November. Normally, when Japanese sets transfer over to English, it's either a combination of two Japanese sets or a Japanese set plus promos, which is most likely what we're going to see with Phantasmal Flames and Inferno X. So in Inferno X, the set will not have the Mega Gengar and Mega Diancie. However, in Japan, they are getting deck battle deck. I forgot what they're called. I'll put them on the screen. But they will feature a Haunter and Meloetta promo, and then Mega Gengar and Mega Diancie, which we may see in Phantasmal Flames, but no confirmation yet. So that is why you may have heard there's a Gengar coming, but you won't see this in Inferno X. But let's jump in here and take a look. So if you're not familiar, Inferno X will feature Mega Charizard, and even though he is the poster child and you would expect the Mega Charizard card to be strong in this set, it's honestly a little bit insane how good this card is going to get. It's a little annoying just thinking about having to go against these in competitions and whatnot. So before we get into all of the 80 cards, let's go down here to the bottom. Notice the previews are in Japanese, so I need to go down here to the English translation. But let's take a look at the Charizard first and then dive into some of the other cards. Make sure my face cam is not cut off, but here we go. So this is the Mega Charizard X EX. It's going to have 360 HP, and it's obviously a stage 2. But its first move, Inferno X, discard any amount of red energies from among your Pokemon, and this attack does 90 for each card you discarded in this way. So, oh boy, it's just like another Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt, I hate playing Raging Bolt, and so this is just going to be another one. It's going to be super annoying, but hey, we'll see an application. We thought Jellicent EX was going to be a game changer, and it turned out to be not, so we don't know until we see it in competitions, but that may sound great. It's like, oh yeah, discard energies. Take a look at this. So there's another Mega coming, Mega Oricorio EX. Oops, scroll down a little bit. Oh, sorry, not Mega Oricorio. It's just Oricorio EX, but still. It's got an ability, Excited Turbo, as often as you like, keyword, as often as you like during your turn. If you have any red Mega Evolution Pokemon, Charizard, in play, you may use this ability. Attach a basic red energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. And that may sound great. It's like, well, how do I get the red energies in my hand? Well, let's take a look down here at these supporters. It's absolutely insane. They just like designed this line. They're like, oh, let's make Charizard as strong as possible and just completely annihilate the competition. Let's take a look at this. Right here, Fire Breather. It's a supporter. Search your deck for up to 7 basic red energy cards and put them into your hand. You see where I'm getting at? Oh my gosh, that is it's so annoying even just to think about, but it's going to be strong. Yeah, I assume Charizard is going to be pretty meta. But again, we won't know till it comes out. But boy, this is setting up to make Charizard a pretty strong deck to play. Now that we're down here in the supporters, let's take a look at some of the other trainer cards. This is an 80 card set, and Phantasmal Flames is going to be one of the smallest sets to come out in recent history. So not too many trainers, but they're all pretty good. So we've got Jumbo Eye starting off here. Heal 80 damage from your active Pokemon that has 3 or more energies attached. Normally you don't see a lot of healing cards in the meta, but 80 damage, that's quite a bit, especially since you want to protect your Megas, since they are 3 prizes. Let's take a look. Heat Burner item. You must discard 1 basic red energy from your hand in order to play this card. Choose a Pokemon tool, special energy, or stadium card your opponent has in play and discard it. Pretty cool. Always good to have a way to discard stadiums. And again, it's a red energy or fire energy, whatever you call it. So this set is pretty geared towards fire decks and Charizard. Oh, sorry. I need to keep it in frame. Next, we got Sacred Charm. The Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks. Pretty standard stuff, not crazy exciting. Let's take a look at this. Grimsley's Move. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Oh, I remember looking at this one earlier. Choose a dark Pokemon. It doesn't specify basic, stage 1, or stage 2. It just says choose a dark Pokemon you find there and put it onto your bench. Can you imagine putting a stage 2? I wonder if that's how it works. Shuffle the other cards face down, put them on the bottom of your deck. You can't play this card on your first turn. But yeah, I'm gonna have to ask a judge or a rules analyst about that, because can you just grab a stage 2 Grimmsnarl if it happens to be on the top of your deck, and you can always use Codebreaker or Cypher Maniac's Codebreaking to put that up there and just put it directly on your deck? And if so, what happens when someone uses TM Devo? Does it not work because there's nothing under it? It's very interesting. I'll have to get a rules analyst to see more details on that, because I think that's pretty interesting. Another good one is Dawn. It's a supporter that lets you search your deck for a basic, stage 1, and stage 2 evolution, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Oh boy. This Mega Evolution era, some of these trainers are so strong. And I think they do that because the Mega Evolution Pokemon are strong, and so they're kind of building up the other non-Mega cards to keep up with the heavy hitters with the heavy HP. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Search your deck for basic, stage 1, and stage 2. Now, it doesn't even say of the same lineage, and so you can get a basic, a different stage 1, and a different stage 2. Interesting to think about. We're going to talk about Fire Breather. Let's take a look at the stadiums. Now, the Mega era, Mega Evolution, the first set, had some pretty cool stadiums, and this is no different. So, Battle Coliseum is a stadium that prevents... Oh, this one is good for Monkeydoris and Dragapults. So prevent all damage counters from being placed on your benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, by the effects of the attacks or abilities used by opponent's Pokemon. So no Adrenabrain because it's an ability, and no Phantom Dive because it's a move. It's an attack. Interesting stuff. Could we see the downfall of Dragapult and Monkeydory with the increase of Mega cards? Who knows? Next up, we got Vertigo Valley. Confused Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, don't recover from confusion when they evolve or devolve. Now, I think that's the last trainer. This is a good segue into the Mismagius EX. Let's go up here. So your Pokemon don't recover from confusion after they evolve or devolve, which is good for, let me find it, Mismagius, you're psychic, I assume. Yep, right here. Let me get that in frame. Geez, these ads, you can barely see it at the bottom of the screen. Mismagius EX has an ability. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, when your opponent switches to a new active Pokemon, it is now confused. So with Mismagius, it's 260 HP, pretty good, and its move does 150 damage. And draw is, it's also a draw engine. So a draw engine to have 6 cards in your hand and 150 damage, and your Pokemon are confused. And if you have Vertigo Valley as your stadium, that could be a pretty good pairing. Now, let's go to the top. We've jumped around quite a bit and go over some of the EXs and Megas we have seen in this set. And then we'll cover other stuff. So Mega Heracross is the first Mega we come across. It's a grass type with 280 HP. Its first move, which causes 2 grass energies, 100 plus damage. If this Pokemon was damaged by an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does that much more damage. So let's say you hit it with Phantom Dive, it does 200 damage. Next round, we're going to be hitting back with 300 damage, which is pretty strong, and it's a basic Mega Evolution, so you can set this up pretty quickly. Its other move is Mountain Thrust for 170 damage. You also discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, so that's pretty cool. That might be useful, might come in handy. Let's take a look. It looks like we don't have any other, we already talked about Charizard. We don't have any other grass Megas or EXs. Same for Fires, we already talked about those. There should be a water one. Oh, no water Mega or EXs, interesting. Which I guess kind of makes sense with the Charizard deck. They want to deprioritize waters. But the next we have is Rotom EX, which is a basic Pokemon with 190 HP. Its ability, you can still see it, your Pokemon with Rotom in their name may have up to 2 basic tools, or 2 Pokemon tools attached to them. pretty cool. So kind of another like Revavroom, but with Rotoms. So I don't know off the top of my head what really you could strategize with those, but hey, it may be interesting. And then for a lightning and a colorless, you have Thunderbolt, which does 130 damage, and discard all energies from this Pokemon. Now, off the top of my head, I don't see that as being too crazy. I don't see many people playing this. However, there could be some strategy I'm not thinking of. But moving on, I don't really have much to say about Rotom. Miss Magius, we already talked about, which is a stage 1. And then it looks like no more psychics. Do we have any rock or fighting? Nope, no rock or fighting. Yes, we have a dark, which is Mega Sharpedo EX. Love Sharpedo. Very cool that we get a mega card. So it's a stage 1 with 330 HP. Jeez, it's going to be insane playing this mega era with these high HP Pokemon. So for 1 dark energy, you've got Greedy Fangs, which does 70 damage, and you draw 2 cards. I'm noticing a lot of cards on this set are draw engines. So I think Miss Magius was one, Sharpedo was one. Very interesting stuff. And then with the supporters we get, you're going to be able to get your hand pretty set pretty quickly. And then for 2 dark energies, you got Hungry Jaw, which does 120 plus damage. The plus is if this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 150 more damage. So 270 damage. Pretty strong. The only problem is it's a 3-prizer. So let's move on, see if there's any other dark. I don't believe there are. Nope, but there is a Steel Empoleon, which I think is so cool. I think it's so cool having Empoleon as steel instead of water. Just love the look of it. The art is so cool. If you can see it over there in the corner. Oh, let me scroll down a little bit. There you go. You can see it. So it's a stage 2. You know, it's a starter Pokemon. Ability Counter Stance. Prevent all effects done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So pretty boring, nothing special. But for 1 or 2 metals and 1 colorless, you have Iron Phaser, which does 210 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks. Honestly, it's not that exciting. It's cool. The card is cool. Hopefully we'll get an Napoleon SIR. Can you imagine? Dude, that'd be so sweet. But yeah, nothing crazy exciting. It looks like a pretty standard EX. Moving on. So this Browsong, I saw something about that earlier. What was it? Also the art, super cool. Let me scroll down. Triple draw 3 cards, tool drop, 40x damage. This attack does 40 damage for each Pokemon tool attached to all Pokemon in play. Okay, that's what I saw earlier. So you can pair this with Rotom, pair this with Revavroom, and especially the Revavroom, because it's a steel as well. Although it doesn't matter because it's just 3 colorless. 40 damage for each Pokemon tool. That's a lot of damage for a 1-prizer. I could see that one being pretty cool that you can put in a steel deck. But moving on, I don't think we have any other EX or Mega Steel. Let's see if we have any colorless. We do, Mega Lopunny. I forgot about that. So it is a stage 1 with 330 HP. You can see it in frame. 1 colorless, Gale Thrust. 60 plus damage. If this Pokemon was on your bench this turn, this attack does 170 more damage. Now, I was looking at that earlier, and I was trying to think, because 230 damage is a lot for 1 colorless energy, especially for a stage 1 Pokemon. But I was thinking, I was wondering how you could flip the script in a way where you can always have her on the bench and then promote her up to active. And I was thinking you can have 2 Mega Lopunnies in play and just switch them back and forth. So once 1 attacks, you just make sure you have to have enough energies for the retreat and the attack. But you could load 1 up, attack, and then the next round retreat and promote another Mega Lopunny, and you can just cycle through, and it's also dispersing some damage from the 2. Pair that with like a Monkey Dory or something where you can offload the damage. That could be pretty interesting. And also, I know a lot of people are just going to use the Mega Lopunny because it's Lopunny. you know how it goes. But let's see. So that's the end of it. Let's take a look at some of the 1-prizers. So from what I'm seeing, a lot of the EXs and Megas are pretty interesting, and we could see some meta-changing cards come out of this set, especially the Charizard. But going all the way back up to the grass types, let's start at the beginning. Let's see if anything have an abilities. Vileplume. I'm just gonna take a look at like the evolution Pokemon because odds are some of the pre-evolutions may not have anything. Vileplume is a stage 2 with 150. I mean, it's not crazy for a one prizer. Pollen Bomb, you do 30 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and asleep. That could be good. Although, I don't know. I don't know. Some of these stage 2 one prizers, they're not really that worth it. Lively Flower, 60 plus damage. If this Pokemon was healed during this turn, this attack does 120 more damage. That could be interesting. The problem is with a lot of these heavy hitter mega Pokemon, this is going to be knocked out pretty quickly. So cool stuff, but here we go. This one's got an ability for Ludicolo. Stage 2 with 160. Its ability, Exciting Healing. Once during your turn, if you have a Grass Mega Pokemon EX in play, Venusaur from Mega Set 1, you may heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. Now that could be interesting. So we could pair the Vileplume with the Ludicolo. The Ludicolo can heal the Vileplume, and then you could do more damage. You just got to make sure you have a Mega EX Pokemon in play. So that could be interesting. May get a little messy trying to set up your board, but could be interesting. Genesect is a basic, which could be interesting. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to it for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. Huh, interesting. 20 damage is not a lot, but it could stack up if you have 6. I mean, dude, 6 energies on one Pokemon is a lot. But you could snipe a Monkey-Door. You could snipe some stage 1s. I don't know. It's alright. It's alright. I don't see people using it too much. Let's see, Low Kicks. No, it doesn't have an ability. Charmander has an ability. If this Pokemon has no energies attached to it, its retreat cost is 0. Who cares? It just means if you use that for... Oh, it does... That is important. It's an 80 HP Charmander. So you'll want to use that for your Charizards instead of a 60 or a 70 HP, which I think we have currently. So it is a stronger Charmander you could trade in for what you currently have. Charmeleon doesn't have anything. We already talked about Mega Charizard. Moltres. I feel like we've gotten a lot of the trio legendary birds recently. I feel like a lot of cards have come into circulation, which is cool. I love them. But man, they seem to be in every set nowadays. Looks like no abilities, nothing too exciting. Darmanitan, 40 plus damage. This attack does 40 more damage for each fire energy attached to this Pokemon, which could be good with Oricorio. Honestly, you could trade out Darmanitan from Charizard. Oh, wait. Oricorio, you need a Mega in play, I think. So, that could be interesting. Could be a one-prizer attacker that you pair with Oricorio and Mega Charizard, but we'll see how it turns out. Reshiram, again, I feel like we've gotten a lot of Reshiram recently. Is it just me, or do I feel like they're reusing a lot of Pokemon? It's cool we got the Empoleon, but man, I feel like a lot of these are being overused quite a bit. For 4 fire energies, you get 240 damage. That's a lot for a single prizer, but it also does 60 damage to itself, which is about half of its health. So that Pokemon's pretty much on a suicide mission. Not a lot of abilities coming into play. All right, we got Dugong. Shout out Gradion on TikTok. He loves Dugong. Its ability, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. Come on, man. Are we going to get some good abilities this set? I feel like it's all just attacks, or the abilities that are there are kind of lame. Suicune, that's cool. Love Suicune. Piplup, nothing. Man, come on, dude, give me some abilities. Palmot, for 2 lightning, you can do 130 damage. You may do 60 damage to this Pokemon, and if you do, your opponent's active Pokemon now paralyzed. Kind of self-inflicting damage. There's a few status effect attacks in this set, but I don't see them being too useful. You got Draw Engine, heal all damage. Oh, here we go. Whimsicott. 1 colorless, Healing Cotton. Heal all damage from one of your bench Pokemon. I could see this being something active in a lot of Mega decks. because if you get close to knocking out a Mega, you can heal them, and you just start the cycle over. Because with Megas being 3 prizes, it's pretty important to keep them healed. So I could see Whimsicott being a good supporter that you keep on your bench no matter who you play. Zacian, so cool. Let's see, 50 plus damage if your opponent has 3 or fewer per. Lame. No. Oh, ability. Yeah, here we go. Man, not many abilities. Okay, so Brambleghast, keep it in frame, sorry. Panic Poison. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may leave your opponent's active Pokemon confused. Please, give me a good ability. These are all so kind of lame. 40 damage for each damage counter. Oh, that's interesting. So this basic, Paldean Tauros, 40 times damage. This attack does 40 damage for each damage counter on all of your Pokemon with Tauros and their name in play. That's a ton, dude. That's a ton of damage. Are you serious? I wonder if there's a way to like add damage to your own Pokemon for fighting Pokemon. I bet there is. Let's see. 50 your opponent's active Pokemon during fuse. Now, oh, that's cool. We have an attack that makes them poisoned and they can't retreat. So, could be interesting with the Gliscor. No abilities, no abilities. Flygon, here we go. Now, I know a lot of people are upset that we have a regular Flygon because that means we weren't getting a Mega Flygon, but hey, we still have a whole Mega era. They could come out with Mega Flygon, we never know. But this Flygon is a stage 2 with 150, not that much. But its ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, or when this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from attacks of your opponent's Pokemon, you may discard the top. Give me something good. Give me a good ability, man. I mean, that's cool for like maybe a mill strategy, but dude, come on. All right. Nothing. Oh, another ability. Okay, so Viper. Excite power. Sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. If you have a Dark Pokemon EX in play, this Pokemon attacks do 120 more damage to your opponent's Pokemon. There's a good ability. So this would do 240 damage for 3 Dark Energies, and it's a basic. I like basics that can do 240 damage. That is quite a bit. Oh, sorry. Now you can see it. Dude, I hate these ads are on the screen. There's no... Maybe I can move. Let me do this. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, yeah, now I'm in the middle. Now you can see. I should have done that from the beginning. Oh, well. Too late now. I'm not redoing this whole thing. Let's see. Crocodile, Stage 2, Revenge Fang. Does 60 plus damage if one of your Pokemon was knocked out by damage from an attack last turn. This attack does 160 more damage. I'm noticing a lot of Pokemon that have stipulations where if your Pokemon was knocked out or it took damage, you do more damage. I'm seeing a lot of that. It's kind of a theme across this set. Toxel, Call for Family. Always good to have a Call for Family Pokemon available. This one is for 1 Dark. You can search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. That could be interesting. I could see Toxel being in a lot of decks. The problem is you need a dark and not colorless. It'd be awesome if you just needed a colorless. But 2 basic Pokemon. It doesn't say non-EX. That means you could do a Mega Latios or Latios EX, whatever it's called, and that would be a Mega Pokemon. So that's actually a pretty strong call for family. I like it. Toxicity. Oh, ability Bad Upper. Can you see it? Yeah. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for 1 basic Dark Energy and attach it to one of your bench Dark Pokemon. If you do, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Could be good with the Tauros. I don't know about mixing a fighting and dark deck, but hey, it could be interesting. Especially good. Actually, that's perfect for a Monkey Dory. I didn't even think about that. So, Dark Energy attached to one of your bench Dark Pokemon, put 2 damage. Dude, that is perfect for Monkey Dory. Let's go, man. Empoleon we already talked about. Bronzong we already talked about. Duraludon, that artwork is amazing. Oops, sorry, you can't see it. Can I move this? Oh, I can. Look at that artwork. Dude, that is sick. Can you imagine a full art with that? Dude, that'd be like a $300 card. That is some of the coolest artwork I've ever seen. But moving on. That's interesting. 70 damage plus discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. That could be pretty disruptive. And it's a basic Pokemon. And then our Charizard for 3 metals, coded attack, 120 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon can't be damaged by attacks. That's interesting. So it can't be damaged. That's actually pretty cool. That could be the Duraludons and Archaludons. They're always pretty good. Astonish, choose a random card, reveal it. I mean, yeah, maybe, but come on, give me some good stuff. I can't really see anything that could be basis for building a cool deck. Discard 2 energies from this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage to 2 of your opponents. That's cool. So we have a Snipe Ambipom, where for 3 colorless, you can discard 2 energies from this Pokemon, and this attack does 60 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. 60 damage is not a lot, but it could come in handy. I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. Lanoon has an ability, Excite Dash. Wait, Excite Dash. We've already seen that. If this Pokemon is on your bench and you have a Pokemon EX in play, you may use this ability. Switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon. I mean, why would you want to do that? Unless somehow you need that Pokemon on the bench, like Lopunny. That's it. That's it. Lanoon is meant to be with Lopunny because you can switch it. Genius. And then you can just retreat for 1. Okay, cool. And then we already talked about that, and we're done. So, like I said, and then we got these 2 secret rares. We got the, you can't see it. Sorry. It was a disaster. We got a Zacian. I'll just leave it right here so you can see it. The Zacian and Ambipom, those are super cool. I'm really surprised with the set coming out next week. We haven't seen more of these special cards. They should come out probably early next week as sets are starting to open and we get some leaks. But yeah, let me know what you think of these new cards. And I think there's some pretty interesting stuff going on. I feel like it's really just geared towards making the Charizard a really strong contender. Lopunny is pretty good without Lanoon. But I don't know. Let me know what you think, and we'll see what is added to the English set and what I doubt anything will be removed, but we'll see closer on. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I hope this video is informative, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.